My name is Aubrey Page, and I'm going into my fifth Dressember season. It's just crazy to think about. I started in 2018 after I was coming home from a deployment in Afghanistan. And obviously, that deployment changed me a lot, and I wanted to learn how to make the world a better place where I lived. And so I learned about Dressember, and I've been doing it ever since. I want to tell you a little bit about what it is and how you can participate. It's changed the lives of the people around me and myself, and so I want to see if it's something that you might want to participate in. So at its core, Dressember is a grant funding organization. So they fund grants for other organizations. They don't do the work themselves, but people apply to get grants from Dressember, which is really cool because they can make sure that the money is being well spent that year, and if it's not, they can shift who they would award the grant to. And they also almost have some say over the movement and the trajectory of the projects that the organizations are working on. So I think it's a really cool concept. The grants that they fund are directly helping to reduce the amount of individuals in human trafficking, prevent them from being trafficked, or rescue them from trafficking, or heal them after they have been rescued from trafficking. So it's kind of like a holistic look at what trafficking looks like in our world. So they fund organizations like Thorn, which is an organization that Ashton Kutcher started and does a lot of online sex trafficking kind of investigative things. And then they also work with organizations that educate foster kids about the dangers of human trafficking in order to make sure that we're preventing them from being victims. And then they work with other organizations that have like homes for individuals who have been rescued from trafficking as they're healing. And then they always work with IJM, and IJM does actual rescue operations. So all of those things are kind of like how we reduce and stop human trafficking, both domestically, they always have a lot of domestic partners, and internationally. So what does it look like to participate in Dressember? What do I mean when I say that this is my fifth season? Well, there are a lot of different ways to participate in Dressember. I'm going to start with kind of the biggest and most time commitment, and then go down from there because it'll be easier to explain that way. So the biggest way that you can participate is by becoming an advocate. And that's saying for the 31 days of December, I am committing to wearing a dress or a tie, and that's not gender specific. You can do it either way. Last year, the founder wore a tie for all 31 days, and she had a lot of fun with changing that up. I'm going to wear a dress or a tie for the 31 days of December, and I'm going to use that as a way to advocate for and inform other people about human trafficking and what it looks like today. And one of my favorite ways to do that is by wearing and Ask Me About My Dress. I also have Ask Me About My Tie pins. And so that I'm wearing this, and I'm wearing a dress in like Home Depot because I've renovated a house for like 3 of the 5 seasons. And people are like, what's your dress? It says to ask you about your dress. What's your dress about? And then I have a conversation. And usually I take a business card with me that has my information about Dressember on there, so I can say, this is what I'm doing, and they can maybe look up my fundraising page later. QR codes are such a great way to do that now. But I've just had a conversation with someone, and maybe all I say is I am advocating. And so this is what my spiel usually is. I say I'm raising awareness and funds to combat human trafficking. It's a really big and important issue we don't talk a lot about, but today there are more people enslaved around the world than at any other time in human history, and I just think that that's pretty shocking. We're looking at 40 million individuals. So that's my spiel. I say the spiel, and then I give them my card, and then I leave. Unless it's like something at church or a friend or something, I might have a bigger conversation with them, but like strangers, that's kind of what it looks like. And I do that all month and many times, and it's fun, and I always go home at the end of the day and say, oh, this is the person I talked to, and I had a conversation with this person, and I learned this, and because sometimes they give me stories as well. So that is becoming an advocate, and that's a 31-day commitment. You'll have your own fundraising page. That's just kind of what it looks like. There are a lot of other ways to participate as well. One of my fun things that I like to do is find somebody to sponsor each day of the month of December. And what you're saying is, I'm going to wear a dress or a tie this day, and on that day, I'm going to be like on my social media or with my coworkers or whatever, I'm going to be talking about human trafficking on that day because that's the day that I'm sponsoring. And maybe you want to give a donation for that day too. That would be fun. And that's another way that you can participate. You can participate by being a donor. So you can donate money to our fundraisers just directly. We are doing an auction. You can donate items to the auction. We're also doing a sale for fair trade Christmas items, and you could purchase one of those since you're already getting Christmas gifts. So there are a lot of different ways to participate in supporting Dressember. Now maybe you say, I don't have any time, I don't have any money, I can't do anything that you're saying. There is still a way you can participate. Just talking one conversation with someone about human trafficking can make a world of difference. And so I'm going to provide some links and to some information so that you can educate other people, because at its core, that's what we need to do. So I think when I started all of this, I thought like, oh, this will be kind of fun. Like, let's see what we can do. I remember my first year I made jars of like the dry ingredients for cookies and brownies and stuff and sold those. And I shocked myself and probably my family by raising over $1,000. I think we were almost at $2,000 as a team. So I led a team of other individuals that were participating. And then that has just grown every year. First 3 years I participated, all 3 of those years combined, we raised $15,000. Last year alone, my first year working with my church and a few other people, we raised over $12,000, which is just incredible. So at this point, in this 4th, now going into my 5th year, we've raised almost $30,000 to combat human trafficking. I can tell you exactly where the money goes. I have gotten like direct thank you letters from the executive director of the nonprofit. This is a small entity that does big work. And so I am really excited to get more people involved in that. I think one thing that we try to convince ourselves, and really the world tries to convince us, is that we can't really make that much of a change. What's the point in putting the effort, trying to change any laws or change anyone's mind, because it's not going to work, right? And I don't agree with that. I have done a lot of activities myself, and I have seen a lot of things change. Right now I'm trying to work on passing legislation through the state of Ohio. That's not nothing, right? And so I think Dressember is kind of like that first step into like actually really changing something about the world. It feels impossible, but as we all band together in a team, it is possible. A few arguments people have against participating in Dressember. Oftentimes I hear, well, I can't wear a dress every day. Like I can't get dressed up every day. Me neither. Me neither. Yeah, absolutely not. I have filled a dumpster in a dress. I have done demolition in a dress. I have built things in a dress. I have painted in a dress. Like, these things are doable. And then another thing someone might say is, well, I don't have a lot of ties or dresses or whatever it is. This dress that I'm wearing right now is actually like made like a sweatshirt. It's really warm and comfortable. And I almost feel warmer in the winter because I usually wear leggings and a dress, so it's like an extra layer. I get most of my dresses at a secondhand store, like Clothes Mentor or something like that. Other ones I get from fair trade companies, but I've been doing this for a while, and so I kind of have like a decent stockpile of dresses. That being said, I think something really fun that some people do is wear the same dress or tie every day, and kind of make that their statement piece. Is like, this is the statement I'm going to make, is that I'm going to wear this every day. I'm going to maybe style it differently, but I want people to ask the question, like, what's going on here? And of course, with having your pin. So we definitely don't want there to be a financial barrier to participating, but I also think that people think of it as a logistical barrier too. If I were to go to like sledding or something, snow tubing with my kid, I'd wear a dress and I'd wear it with some snow pants underneath it. If I were to go work out, which I have done, I would wear a dress, but you don't have to. And that brings me to another point. What do you do if you have a job that requires that you wear a uniform or some kind of pants? Then that's fine. That's fine. That's your job. The goal is that we're wearing this during the times when we get to choose what we're wearing. So I'm in the military. If I don't have a skirt option or a dress option, there's no dress option, then I would just wear my uniform, right? Like, that's what I'm going to wear. But if I go out in leisure time afterwards, then I'm going to wear a dress. Also for men, other things to consider is that there are like ties that have elastic in them. If you're like, I can't like wear this all day, you can wear a tie with a t-shirt. I know it sounds silly, but like, what a conversation starter. And another question that people have is, do skirts count? And what they say on their official website is it's called Dressember, not Skirtsember. So no. But I have worn a dress and then worn like a sweater on top and stuff like that. Like, there's lots of different ways of styling it and layering it. So I promise you can still be warm, and I promise you can still be comfortable. But I think the goal is to get a little bit out of our comfort zone and have that cause us to think, like, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Right? Like, I'm dressing a little bit different. Maybe I'm not super, super comfortable. But also I'm doing this for individuals who can't choose what to wear, where to sleep, you know, who they hang around with all day, and maybe even their bodily autonomy. They can't decide what to do with their body. Maybe they are forced to do work, manual labor. They've been forced into a marriage, or they're doing other trafficking activities and they don't get to choose that. So I am choosing to wear a dress and remind myself that I have that option and other people don't. So I think this has gone a little bit long, but I hope that answers all of your big questions. If you're interested in participating in Dressember at any level, please contact me and I will figure out a way to connect you with whatever you need. And then I would love it if at the very least you could learn a little bit more about human trafficking yourself and maybe even share that information with others. So I will provide links for that information below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.